Hi, my name is Deng, and today I'm presenting my work in collaboration with my amazing co-workers, Sven, Goller, Florian, Lehmann, and Buschek. So by now, probably many of you have already heard of applications that use large language models to enable users to generate text using simple natural language instructions, often called text prompts. But is writing text prompts really that straightforward? In our research, we have found that not all prompts are created equal. Those who are already familiar in this field know that careful prompt engineering can lead to drastically different results. For example, researchers have found that paraphrasing of sentences can already lead to better results. And as a consequence, researchers have come up with different templating systems that simplify the process of creating more effective text prompts. Or they even build entire editing systems that allow users to explore alternative text prompts. We can clearly imagine why large language models can be a powerful tool to be integrated into a writer's toolset. But in our research, we have found that writing good text prompts is not the only challenge that writers face. We show how multiple UI variations using large language models impact the usability and the utility of text prompts. And more specifically, we investigated how users write with large language models in a tightly integrated environment and show that there are actually two perspectives on writing prompts. And we term these two perspectives diegetic prompting and non-diegetic prompting. Similar to the term diegesis in film and music, the term diegetic prompting refers to the text that is part of the user's narrative and therefore also part of the created text. So take, for example, a user who wants to write about the adventures of a fox. That user might start with, "Once upon a time, there was a fox, ... and prompts the system for a suggestion or a continuation. On the other hand, non-diegetic prompts are not actually part of the narrative itself. Rather, it's often formulated as an instruction or question to the system. For example, write a story about the adventures of a fox. So how did we arrive at these two perspectives? We conducted a user study with 129 participants recruited over Prolific and asked them to write short stories on 5 different topics spanning argumentative and creative texts. These 5 writing tasks corresponded to 5 counterbalance UI setups. 1 where no suggestions were given, 1 where only one suggestion was given inline, 1 where multiple suggestions were given in a list, 1 where the suggestion was given inline and the user had the option to give non-diegetic prompts, and 1 where multiple suggestions were shown in a list and the user again were offered the option to provide non-diegetic prompts. And except for the condition where there were no suggestions, users could always use diegetic prompting. And we measured various aspects during the writing process, including the suggestion trigger position, the text length, the task completion time, the acceptance rate, and so on. For a detailed overview and analysis, please refer to our paper. In our study, we have found that the frequency of accepted suggestions was similar to related work, which gave us the confidence that the suggestions by the systems made sense to the participants. And the Likert question revealed that users had problems coming up with non-diegetic prompts. Indeed, this theme was repeated in the open feedback that the users gave, where they reported that instead of giving non-diegetic prompts, they rather guide the sentences in such a way where they could expect the system to give more suitable suggestions. However, we have noticed that when users were shown only one inline suggestion, they specified more of the sentences before requesting a suggestion. Additionally, the difference in suggestion acceptance rates decreased when users were also given the option to provide non-diegetic prompting in the inline suggestion scenario. And here's a writing example of one of the participants. The text in blue shows what the system suggested in response to users' diegetic or even non-diegetic prompts. And in this particular case, the user commented that they had difficulties coming up with non-diegetic prompts and instead tried to guide the sentences in such a way where they could expect suitable suggestions from the system. So to recap, we have found that switching between diegetic and non-diegetic prompting interrupts writing and thinking. And as a consequence, users struggle to come up with non-diegetic prompts. And given these challenges, users in our study prefer choosing from multiple suggestions over controlling them using non-diegetic prompts. The key takeaway here is that we expect future writing tools to more closely integrate large language models to better support writing. But we also show that this integration is not a zero-cost benefit. Instead, we have found that the frequent switches between diegetic and non-diegetic prompting impacts users' writing experience. Future UIs need to be carefully designed with this in mind.